So who's ready for Singles Awareness Day next week? Anyone? Hello friends, I hope you're all doing well. I had one of those weird, you know you're an adult when moments this week. I've been a teacher now for 7 years, and I always kind of feel like I'm a young, hip teacher. Well, at least as young and hip as a introverted nerd can be. I teach sophomores, and I know 15, 16-year-olds don't have a really good grasp of time and age, but, you know, I mean, if you're watching this right now and you're in high school or college and you're thinking, and I know what you're thinking, because I was there, I thought the same thing, 30 is, by the time someone reaches 30, their life is over, there's nothing left, kind of thing. Don't lie, I know deep down you're thinking it, because I did too. But, I still like to think of myself as young. I hope that when I'm 90 years old, I still think of myself as young. I can still remember the day that my 65-year-old grandmother was sitting on her front porch, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, goes, I think I can do a cartwheel. And thankfully we talked her out of it, but, I can kind of see where she was coming from. You feel as young as you do, You think of yourself as a young age. You don't think of yourself as being older and your body being older. My students this year have really driven home the fact that they think that I am old. It's nothing too bad. It's just the fact that when they ask me about my life in high school and college, it's taken on that wistful tone of when you ask your grandparents what life was like back in the day. But I have to say that this week I did feel a little old when one of my students asked me to write a letter of recommendation for college. I teach the younger students, so I normally don't have to write these letters of recommendation. Amanda, I know you teach the older students, so you have to write them all the time. But last year I had a situation where I had a student who transferred into the school that we teach at, and her old school didn't have her take chemistry yet, so she had to take chemistry during her junior year. So this year, as a senior, when she's applying to colleges for admission and scholarships, she needed a letter of recommendation from one of her former teachers. Because she's going into a science background, she wanted one from her science teacher. So she asked me this week if I would write her one. I remember asking teachers for letters of recommendation and thinking it wasn't any big deal. They write a few words about me, send it in, boom, it's done. But then when I become the teacher writing the letter of recommendation, I start thinking about, this is it. This could be, the letter that gets her into where she wants to go. And I ended up putting a whole lot of pressure on myself. And I know that's just a little overly dramatic, but that's how it was in my head. I do the same thing for when a student gets a bad grade on a test. I stress more about it than they do. And probably here in a few months when I check back in with this student who I wrote the letter for, she'll probably decide, oh, I decided not to even go to that university. But I put all of this pressure on myself to try and make sure it was perfect. And Amanda, you read it for me and you said it sounded okay and everything like that. So I'm sure it was what it needed to be, but I ended up just blowing it so much out of proportion. So what about you guys? Do you all ever do that? Do you put more stress on something than what it needs to be? Like you personally take it on as a challenge for yourself when really it's just a very small task? Let us know in the comments. And with that, I hope you guys have a great rest of the week, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.